Hello, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mamani and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. I hope you all are doing good. Today we have Kerala's budget 2018 on our table today, and we are going to break it down and we will go through important bits and pieces, and we will see the things that are important and relevant for your state level exams. But before that, I have two things to share with you. The first thing is that I shared a very personal connection with Kerala. The thing is that all my teachers from my kindergarten, I am being trained and educated by teachers from Kerala. So this is something that is going to be with me forever, and it gives me immense pleasure to address all the aspirants from the state of Kerala. So I feel immense joy as well whilst I'm having a discussion with you guys, particularly on this budget of the state of Kerala. And the second thing is that StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. We cover UPSC, CSE courses, SSC, bank courses, and much more. To know more about it, all you have to do is check out studyiq.com. Now, dear friends, budget 2018 for the state of Kerala was tabled by Finance Minister. This is how it works, right? First you have this union budget, and after that we see that this state level budgets are tabled in different state legislative assemblies, right? So this is how it works. So just a bit of background information, and it is the finance minister of that particular state. He or she will table the budget in the legislative assembly. So this is again a bit important thing. The thing is that I am assuming that out of you guys, many of you would be beginners, so for you this would be a new game altogether, and many of you would be pros as well. So I am keeping a fine balance here so that everyone gets the maximum out of our discussion that we are going to have today. And the Finance Minister of Kerala, Dr. T.M. Thomas Isaac, he tabled this budget for a financial year 2018-19. Now, one more thing that I would like to clarify, and this small bits and these small bits are quite important. The reason is that many a times I have noticed that students are a bit confused that do we present this or this budget, does it covers 2 years? No, it does not cover 2 years. Then why we find 2018-19 written on it? The thing is that, right, our financial year, that is FY, financial year, starts from 1st April every year and it ends on next year 31st March, right? So keep this thing in mind. So here this budget is going to work from, or it is applicable from 2018, right? 1st April 2018. It is pertaining to, not applicable, but it is pertaining to 1st April 2018, and the financial year will end on 31st March 2019. So this is the reason why we say that this Dr. T.M. Thomas Isaac presented the budget for financial year 2018-19. I hope this thing is clear, and this is his second straight budget. That means the earlier budget as well was presented by Dr. Isaac, right? This is Mr. Vijayan's second, you can say second year or second budget. With this, dear friends, lots of literature as well was used by Mr. Isaac, and he's quite fond of literature as well. The thing is that the reason why I'm referring it is because in your state level exams you find this type of general knowledge based questions as well. So you may be asked regarding who is Sarah Joseph, or I would reckon you guys to go through, just Google Sarah Joseph, novelist Sarah Joseph, and go through important some of the most famous work done by Sarah Joseph, and all you have to do is just note down a couple of names, and that's more than enough, right? The novels written by, or the best selling novel of Sarah Joseph, just in case if they ask you just this types of question. And he also referred some Malayalam poems as well. The concluding remarks where also he used some poems, and the thing is, this is part of this is something that you see taking place in different states. Of course, the personal touch of finance minister is always there, but if a state is famous for, say for example, literature, if the society of a particular state enjoys literature, then you find literature mentioned in the budget, or many times in the speeches of governor or chief minister as well. This is something that is a sort of, you can say, a soft practice, I would say. So let's break it down now. Budget highlights. Let's go through some figures, some numbers, and I must tell you one thing here that you don't have to remember, right? Generally, what I have seen is that students are a bit scared about this digits and figures, right? They think that they have to remember all the numbers that they see on the screen. No, this is not right at all. The fact is that you have to keep in mind only those numbers that are important. If you go through the full budget, then you will find so many numbers. It is, if not impossible, it is very difficult for anyone, even the finance minister as well, right? If you ask finance minister or finance secretary, then it would be difficult because you have so many numbers. So naturally, you are going to get a bit confused when it comes to memorizing this number. So we will go through only important numbers. Now you will also find there are many versions online of this budget, right? And many versions, they provide you many different graphs and pie charts and other things as well. And now again, I would like to say, don't be scared of those things, right? You are preparing for competitive exams. You don't have to be PhDs and experts in this thing, right? You should have a good understanding of the numbers and how they work and why they matter. That's more than enough for you guys. Of course, the important figures, I will highlight it. I will also mention that these are the numbers that you should keep in your mind, and the reason why I will highlight the reason why I think they are important is because if you go through your past papers, then you will find a pattern as well, that many a times you find this sort of questions in your state level exams. So right, so this gross state domestic product of Kerala, GSDP, this is equivalent to GDP. When we talk about India, we say GDP. When we talk about a particular state, then we say GSDP. So here we are just going to use GDP, and of course we know that we are talking about the state of Kerala, right? So the GDP for 2018-19 is estimated to be 7,72,894 crore. This figure is important, right? Note this one down. Do not forget this figure. They may ask you, many times you find this sort of questions in your MCQ exams. They ask you precise figure of a state GDP. So this should be there in your mind. Should by heart it if you have to. And this 7,72,894 crore is 12.6% higher than the revised estimate for 2017-18. So it is a bit, you can say, a good thing that it is a bit higher. And GDP basically is, I'll give you a rough example, right? You calculate only the final products and services, right? You don't, I'll give you one example, and I believe this will help you in understanding what GDP is all about. So say for example, you want to make a packet of biscuit. You buy a packet of biscuit for 5 rupees in the market, right? This is your MRP. So now you know that to make your biscuit, you have used sugar, then you have used just ignore this thing. You have used sugar, you have used, say for example, flour, right, and other things as well. So if imagine that if you are calculating, say 50 gram sugar and 10 gram of whatever flour or other things, right? I'm not expert in making biscuits, but the thing is, if you calculate this small chunks, then you are never going to come to a final figure. So what we do is, if say for example today someone buys a 5 rupee biscuit packet, then you can say that the GDP of Kerala has gone up by 5 rupees. In the same way, when you do your mobile recharge, right, of say 100 rupees, then these two transactions, one is a product, the other one is a service, everything included in it. So when you say MRP 100 for your mobile recharge, then at present, based on these two transactions, let's assume that these are the only true transactions that took place today in Kerala. So the GDP of Kerala grew by 100 plus 5, that is 105 rupees. So basically total of product and service, final products and services, right? Not the other components and bits and pieces in it, because at the end of the day everything will be included when you calculate the final product. So I hope this thing is clear as well, not too technical, a bit in layman's language, and this is I believe this is the most important thing. Understanding is the key for competitive exam, right? Too much technicality is of course not right. And of course you have all these books and everything, I'm sure that you can go through the proper formal definition, but for understanding we have to be a bit informal. Anyways, so total expenditure is estimated to be 1,27,093 crore rupees, 14.1% increase. Now many times expenditure is not always bad. We have to see whether the government is spending this money, whether it is giving subsidies or whether it is investing or spending this money for, say for example, infrastructure. So it all depends where you are, where your expenses are, in what you are spending basically. In 2017-18, the revised estimate indicates that expenditure is expected to be 8,250 crore, 6.9% lower than budgeted estimate. And if we break this, if we you can say, if we go through important components of the GDP of Kerala, then we find that 63.1% is coming from service sector. So here we can clearly say that out of 100, if 63% of GDP is coming from service sector, imagine this mobile recharge thing example. So this is the biggest contributor in the GDP of Kerala. Then you have manufacturing somewhere around 25.6, roughly 25, and 11.3 is coming from agriculture, as you can see it here as well. And if you go through 2014, 15 and 16, then you find that services are doing a bit okay, not bad, right? Services are doing good, 63.5. And here you have one more thing, that this GDP of Kerala grew from 4.3%. It was growing at the rate of 4.3% per year in 2014-15. So this you can understand by, say for example, the GDP was 100 rupees in 2013-14, and in 2014-15, right, it was added by 4.3 rupees. So it grew by, so the final GDP became 104. Then every year since then we have seen on an average somewhere around 7 point something, and at present 16-17 7.4. so you add other percentage and you can see that it is means add-ons are going on and on, it is going up, and 7.4 is not a bad thing at all. But the sad portion is here, you see unemployment is a bit higher as well. Kerala has the highest unemployment rate of 12.5% as against the all India level of 5%. So GDP is expanding on one side, but on the other side you don't find that many jobs. So there could be many reasons as well, many theories as well, but this is a matter of worry for any government, because youngsters, if they are seeking jobs and if they are not finding it, then this is going to create turmoil in the political setup as well. And here you can see 35,541 engineering graduates, they were seeking jobs in 2017, and general work seeker 34.62 lakh, which is a bit higher amount, isn't it? Figures are a bit higher here. Class 10th pass 21.40 lakh, 3.58. You have this below 10th class education they have got. And the sad thing is that even postgraduates, 16,000 PGs, which is a matter of worry, no doubt, and graduates as well, 2.17 lakh. So this is a matter of worry for the government. Now, important highlights of the budget. Total receipts, the money coming in for 2018-19, estimated to be 1,03,136 crore. Not that important figure for you to remember, to keep in your mind, because it may go up and down, right? So it's not that. It is of course an increase of 16.4 if we compare it with 2017-18. In 2017-18, total receipts fell short. See, I told you this may come down and may go up. So you don't find this sort of questions, right? They don't ask you precise figures based on this thing. So the money coming in was bit down, and then you have this revenue deficit for the next financial year is targeted at 12,860 crore, that is 1.7% of the GDP, and fiscal deficit is targeted at 23,957 crore, 3.1% of the total GDP. Some key announcements. Now we are going through important schemes after we have gone through all these figures. So first of all, we'll start with NRIs, right? Non-residential Indians. Now we know that NRIs from Kerala, you find them predominantly in Gulf countries. Of course, they are living in different parts of the world as well, but majority of them are living in Gulf countries. When I'm saying Gulf countries, I'm talking about this Arab world and other countries nearby this Arab world, right? So 80 crore for the welfare of NRIs, and one of the reason why the government of Kerala has to look after NRIs is because they are one of the biggest source of remittance. Remittance basically means the money, the saving that they do over there, and they then send that money back home in Kerala. And this thing is if you compare foreign direct investment in India and the remittance, then remittance is a bit higher. So this is money coming from outside into our country or into our state. And this is a very good thing as well. It helps in development and other activities, right? So this is a big thing. So of course NRIs should be looked after very well. And many times we find this situations as well, or we find this media reports that many times people from our state or our country, they find difficulties or they face some difficulties abroad. So 16 crore rupees kept for them for their help and whatever, if just in case if they are required any sort of hand holding or other things. Government allots us 14.5 crore. Of course, I will highlight, as I told you, you don't have to remember all the numbers here. Jail renovation across the state, and this is important as well because when you renovate jails and when you are working for the welfare of people, prisoners, of course you have to inject them back in the society, isn't it? But what you want is that when they come back from the jail, once they have gone through their punishment, they are as clean as you and I, isn't it? So they should be well-mannered, disciplined, and you can say re-engineered when they are in jail. And when they come back, they can easily mitigate, or you can say they can easily camouflage in the society and things like that. And 28 crore for Sabrimala master plan as well. Tax on alcohol is going to go up. You know that this thing created turmoil as well. This ban on this alcohol for this off-license shops and other things, it created a big sort of problem for the people in Kerala. Of course, the tourists as well were not happy, and tourism industry was shaken by the decision of the government. But the other sad portion or the other dark side is that Kerala ranks among the highest booze drinking state in our country. So of course the government has to look after the health of the people as well, and the ladies lot, they were not happy about the easy availability of alcohol, and when things are cheaper, then people tend to consume more of the alcohol. So this was something that was if you take it in the context of welfare state, then when you increase the revenue, then of course when you increase the tax, the revenue is going to be flowing into the pocket of the government, and this can be used for other things, rehabilitation centers and other things as well. So this is going to go up. And memorial for K Gopalan, right, in his hometown of Perala, and this was taken very well. Means we saw this spotted this desk thumping by LDF MLAs when this thing was announced, and of course we all know that he is a communist icon. Gas connections, some other steps, like you find the gas connections to be made available in every town through which through this pipeline gases, right? So when you have this pipeline, so you don't have to book the bottles and other things. Scarcity of gas and all this sort of things will go away when you have this gas connections with pipelines. Pensions for every KSRTC buses, right, employees to be paid by March. So cheers on many people, right, or the pensioners of this KSRTC. Special package for KSRTC to be announced by March. Remember, connectivity is the key. You cannot have development without this connectivity, and this state transport system plays a very important role. Nowadays we are facing this pollution thing as well throughout our country, and so this is very important that people switch towards and more easy availability of buses and other transport system. The more people will tend to use it, and less pollution and less traffic as well. Win-win situation for everyone. 52 railway overbridges, and then you have this mobility hub. The interesting part is here, 144 crore for the field of culture, very important. And at present Kerala is quite famous for Ayurveda education as well as homeopathy, right? People from all parts of our country, and in fact from all parts of the world as well, we find visiting in Kerala and getting this Ayurvedic treatment and naturopathy and other things. So this is something, it is a service industry, no doubt, and wellness is going to be a big industry in 21st century, and Kerala is setting a very good example as well. I have seen testimonies of many people who have been there, and I have heard most of the things that are good when they are referring this Ayurveda and homeopathy and other things. So when you spend more, when you invest, rather not spending, when you invest in education, Ayurveda education and homeopathy, you are not only developing this industry, medical tourism, but at the same time you are going to create more jobs as well for the people, right? Medical industry has a huge potential. Wellness and medical industry and medical tourism has a huge potential of absorbing this unemployment that we find in the state of Kerala. Finance Minister says that tourism department has got 9 awards, and he praised this Muziris special spice route heritage project too. Then he talked about this village Minangadi, right? It is a carbon neutral village, and this was announced when he came back from this Paris climate change conference. Mr. Isaac was there in this Paris back in 2015, end of 2015. This meeting took place in Paris, France, and when he came back, he announced this Minangadi, and the main objective is ensuring that this is a zero net carbon dioxide village, so no emission of carbon dioxide coming out of this village. And this is something that I personally believe should be translated or replicated beyond this Wayanad district and beyond state of Kerala. We can apply it in all parts of our country. So Kerala again going to be a source of inspiration when it comes to this particular village, is going to be a sort of lighthouse for other villages in our country. SC/ST centric programs, you can say biggest chunk or the allocation is 2,859 crore. The government said that it is focused for the welfare of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and for rural development, compensation to local bodies, agriculture and other things, and 10 crore is given for bamboo, 54 for cashew industry, 19 crore for khadi industry, and 150 for coir industry. The biggest and one of the most important thing, and you find question on women empowerment as well in your descriptive exams. So this bit is important. If they ask you the steps taken by the state of Kerala in terms of women empowerment or protection and other things, so here you find that the state has allocated 1,267 crore rupees for the women's welfare. And you have this She Lodge. She Lodge is basically a temporary housing for working women. They can stay there. So this is a bit important. You may find a question, what exactly is She Lodge all about? So She Lodge is a temporary housing for working women. And 50 crore will be used for prevention of attacks on women. So maybe CCTV cameras and emergency numbers and other things. So it will be used for preventing advertisement, awareness campaigns and other things. ASHA workers, they are the grassroots level workers, very important, you can say, a cog in a big machine. So ASHA workers at grassroots level, they are the main source for information. They are the ones who you seek help or knock doors whenever you have any doubts or question or queries, particularly for maternity health and child health and things like that. So 2,000 rupees hike for ASHA workers. So this is going to add cheer on their face. 13.6% of the budget is allocated for women-centric measures, which is not bad at all. Very welcome move. Isaac is super fast express, because he talked about somewhere around more than 2.5 hours, and was sipping water, and he was using these phrases and things, and so it was all right, not bad. And monetary aid for marriages has been increased. Endosulfan package will be implemented. And now I have a small task for you guys, right? This is a sort of challenge for you. Do we have any sort of you can say negative side of endosulfan? If there are, then what are they? This is a sort of homework for you guys. Do it. And 43 crore rupees for renovation of bud schools. Computer labs, 300 crores, 33 crore for digitization of school in the state. Very important. You and I, we are connected with this help of digital platform, isn't it? And it is, I believe, helping immensely to many students all across the country. So this is something we need in government schools as well. And 2,500 crore for life housing scheme. Healthcare, very important items here. Healthcare resources for comprehensive healthcare scheme for the government will be mobilized through Kerala lottery, and you have this Malabar Cancer Center, which will be upgraded to a regional cancer center. Which MCQ question can be formed out of this thing as well? Like recently in the budget, it was announced a particular or one cancer center was upgraded to regional cancer center. Name that cancer center, it is Malabar. And medical colleges will have more doctors and more nurses. This is we need at least the good ratio is that one doctor should be supported by you can say 4 nurses, right? And we need this thing as well, that some of the decisions should be taken by the nurses as well. District hospitals will have departments for heart related ailments, so tertiary sector is looked after. Taluka, the second level, you can say 1, 2 and 3. The third level we put it the city hospitals or bigger metro hospitals. So in the talukas as well, you will have trauma centers. 1,685 crore for public health services and ambulance services, just like Uber, right? This sort of model will be launched soon. Very interesting thing. Let's see how this thing is rolled out. Focus on poultry. Here you have a very important thing called Kudumbashri, right? Kudumbashri is a self-help group, and at present lakhs of women are associated with this Kudumbashri. It is providing them with source of livelihood, and 200 crore rupees is allocated to Kudumbashri, and poultry farming will be popularized, and the finance minister promised that good quality chicken meat will be available in the state. And regarding hunger, as we are talking about chicken and this Kudumbashri, then Numa Onu in Kochi recently it was launched, and it is about eliminating hunger from the state of Kerala, right? And the finance minister has promised. It is a ambitious target, I must mention here, and he has said that by the end of the 5 years of his government, being in office, by the end of 5 years or this term, no one in Kerala will spend a day without food. So let's see how this thing is going to be rolled out. Of course, money is allotted for rural and urban area, and one of the most important thing when we talk about food is also water. Potable and drinking water is the need, basic need for everyone, isn't it, for survival? And now we need to treat our wastewater as well. The time has gone when we used to get rid of it without treating it, but now we have to reuse, recycle every drop. So revamping the Kerala Water Authority, and this will add a new fire in the way things are going on with voter conservation and voter management. GST was criticized. He said that GST has made check posts inactive, and he also blamed this thing that he was a bit harsh on GST. He said that it only benefits the corporates and rich people. He said that state revenues have gone down, but if we go through this pie chart here, then we find that 46% of the revenues are coming from GST. 46% of tax revenues are coming from GST. So again, a little bit of controversial thing here. And the formation of GST Council, all the states all across the board, they have agreed on this thing, and decisions are taken on consensus as well. We haven't used this voting system so far as I know. We haven't used this voting system that you have under GST. So this indicates that things are done with the help of are done based on consensus. So anyways, regarding this Uki, we know this ghastly tropical cyclone that damaged Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Lakshadweep as well. It was a bit harsh on Sri Lanka as well, a neighboring country of our country. So extensive coastal package of 2,000 crore post Uki, and ports will be developed, coastal area will be developed, and he said that he praised the women who have the widows basically, who have taken over their household after the demise of their husband, and additional 150 crore for sustainable green development of coastal areas, and 584 crore for port development. What we need now is, we are going to see this tropical cyclones and natural disasters, the severity and their quantity will go up. So what we need to utilize this package of this Uki, post Uki package. We can use it for, this is just my suggestion here, that we can use it for creating grassroots level disaster management forces. You don't have to recruit people, but you have to make people aware about this thing, and in every village you can have a couple of activists or volunteers, right? They can be trained, and then they, God forbid, if we find any thing like this going on, then they can direct people during the crisis time, before they are assisted, or before any sort of assistance comes to the state. They can basically manage this, or they can at least direct people what to do and what not to do. And he also was harsh on demonetization, and he termed it as a man-made disaster, and he termed this Uki, of course we know, as natural disaster. Then Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund. Infrastructure is a very important thing. It is a very basic need for any state or a country. If you don't have good infrastructure, then all your plans, everything that you are thinking of, nothing will, you can say, you won't be able to build anything on it. If you want to build school, then you need good roads, you need electricity, right? You need good water supply and other things, and for all these things you need good infrastructure. So Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board, KIIFB, proposals amounting rupees 20,000 crore, that is 37% out of around 54,000 crore under KIIFB, have been sanctioned. Registration and stamp duty, very important when you want to build these things, right? They go hand in hand. So registration and stamp duty, 1,000 rupees or 0.25% of the sale value, whichever is higher, will be charged when you sell a property or register a property, and rate of land tax will be modified, and existing fair value of the land will be increased by 10%. So that's all important bits and pieces regarding Kerala's budget of 2018. I hope many things are clear to you now, right? And do let me know what you think about today's discussion, right? It was designed keeping in mind the necessity of your exam only. So this is the reason I have not provided you many scary charts and figures and this graphs and other things. Anyways, so that's everything that I have to give it to you or share with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Do hit the notification bell. Do give us your like if you have learned something out of it. Pass your valuable comments, and you can get in touch with me with my Facebook page, right, which is here. This is my Facebook page. You can get in touch with me. You can download this PDF as well from my Facebook page. And I will see you all soon. Enjoy your studies. Goodbye and Jai Hind.